All right, today we're going to continue to work on lesson 3.4, which is writing proofs. This is going to be our third day of working on it, and we're really going to focus on, looking at the proofs that you've been writing. So we're going to stay with the same concept of them being writing proofs for angles and segments. But what I really want to point out today is there's really two styles to those proofs, and I want to show you the difference between them because I think just talking in class with those that were here, there seemed to be some confusion at times as to how to go about the process. So I just want to kind of highlight the difference between the between proofs. Okay, so these are both proofs that involve angles. Okay, but what I want to look at is in the first case, we are asked to prove that the overall angle BXD is congruent to the other overall angle EXG or EYG. Okay, so we're trying to prove the overall angle equals the overall angle. Over here, we're trying to prove that part of an overall angle is equal to an other part of the overall angle. Okay, so notice here they give us that angle one and we're supposed to prove angle one is equal to angle two, and we're given that the angle BAD and angle EAG are already equal to each other, and we got to work from there. All right, so there's just a little variation over here. Again, we're trying to prove that the angle BXD and EYG are going to be equal given that the parts that make up those two angles are equal. While over here, we're given angle BAD and EAG are already equal, and one of their parts are equal, prove the other two parts are equal. You use a lot of the same information when you do these. It's just done a little differently. So let's look at the first one. All right. We're told that, or we're asked to prove, big picture here is to prove that this angle BXD and this angle EYG are equal. And if you look at the givens, we're told 1 and 2 are the same, and we're told 3 and 4 are equal. So if 1 and 2 are equal and 3 and 4 are equal, then the overall angles they create are going to be equal. All right. So that's what we're trying to prove. So how do we start this one? Well, we start with angle addition. All right. So we know that angle BXD is equal to 1 plus 3. And we want to use angle addition here. We know that angle EYG is equal to 2 plus 4. Okay, now this is where some confusion comes in. We don't know that BXD and EYG are equal to each other. So I can't just say that this sum equals this sum right now. It's not going to work that way, right? We're trying to prove these two are equal. Since I'm trying to prove these two are equal, I want to make these two the same. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to put in our givens. Measure of angle 1 equals measure of angle 2, and the measure of 3 equals a measure of 4. And then I'm going to take one of these statements, one or two, and I'm going to make the sum of it exactly like the sum of the other one. All right, so here's what I mean. If I take this first line, okay, replace the measure of angle 1 with the measure of angle 2, because that's what it's equal. Replace the measure of angle 3 with the measure of angle 4, because that's what it's equal. And now what happens is, if you look at the measure of angle EYG, it's 2 plus 4. Down here, the measure of BXD is 2 plus 4. All right. Since these two are the same, since the sums are the same, then what they're set equal to have to be the same. So now I can say that BXD is equal to EYG by substitution. Okay. So that's one style. This one I'm trying to prove the overall angle equals the overall angle. Now over here, we're told the overall angles are equal, and we're trying to prove some of the parts that make them up are equal. So this is going to be a different process, but we're going to use a lot of the same ideas. All right. So what we'll do here is, again, we're told that BAD and EAG are equal. So the first thing I'm going to start with, though, is segment addition. BAD equals 1 plus 3, and EAG equals 2 plus 4, angle addition property. We get that right out of the drawing. Now, the next given, BAD equals EAG. Okay, this first given, see, BAD equals EAG. That means I can set this sum equal to this sum because I now know these two are equal. It was a given. So I can say the measure of angle 1 plus 3 equals 2 plus 4. That's by substitution. Okay, remember, our end game in this one is to say 1 equals 2. So because I have it written in an equation, if I can eliminate the 3 and the 4 from the two sides, then I'll have 1 equals 2. And that's what we're going to do next. We're going to take our next given, which is 3 equals 4, as a given. I'm going to use this to either make measure of angle 3 the measure of angle 4, because they're equal, or I could make the measure of angle 4 the measure of angle 3, so that I have the same angle on each side. And what I do is I take line 4, and I'm going to replace this measure of angle 3 with what it's equal to, which is a measure of angle 4. So this line of work is the same written here, except I replaced this 3 with 4. Now what I get is I got the measure of angle 4 on each side of the equal sign, so I can use my subtraction property of equality, substitution, sorry, my subtraction property of equality to subtract the measure of angle 4 from both sides, and that leaves me 1 equals 2 by subtraction property. Okay, so I went through some of these examples the other day. I just want to show you this is the two different ways they can give you the proof. One, they can try to, one, they'll get you to prove that the overall angle is equal to the overall angle, given that the sum of the parts are the same. Over here, they're going to get you to show two of the angles are the same by telling you the overall angles are already equal and work from there. All right. So now the same thing happens with segments. All right. They'll ask you to prove the overall segments are equal, given their parts are equal, or they'll ask you to show that two of their parts are equal in segments, given that the overall segments are the same. It's the same concept. All right. So I've given you a handful more of these to work on tonight. Work on it in class. Ask me questions. I think that's obviously a big part of it is to help you get going on these. And there's a real pattern to them. And I think you'll be successful. Use this to go back and look at if it helps. All right. All right. I'll let you get at it.